Laura, right, let's get a fresh look, a sideways look at this story. With the Chancellor set to deliver his autumn statement in the next few hours, around lunchtime, Dave Fishwick, founder of the Bank of Dave, is going to be telling us right now what that is going to mean for your wallet.
But before we speak to Dave, we sent him on a mission in his hometown of Burnley to find out what the public wants to hear from the Chancellor today.
Help more with the cost of living.
So the cost of living is your most important. That's the thing you're worried about the most.
It's food. Being a family of four, my husband works part-time, I don't work, you do feel the pinch.
You've worked all your life to have a decent income for when you retire, and you just take it, and you think to yourself, what's it all about?
Well, let's see, shelter for the genuine homeless.
So you'd say to Jeremy Hunt, come up here and have a look.
Yeah.
And you'd like to have a chat
or
with him.
spend the night on the streets how people are, genuinely.
And then he would see what we needed.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm not quite a pensioner, but I am retired, I'd like to see the triple lock staying.
Have a budget for the people instead of yourselves. That would be my advice.
Were you surprised by anything you heard out on the streets?
Well, Lee there, who's homeless, he lives in a caravan with no windows. Let me tell you, the inheritance tax isn't going to be an issue for him. £300,000 limit and then 40% after that. I said to him, look, come to Bank of Dave, we'll sort you some windows out for the caravan. It's just shocking.
Yeah.
It really is what's happening.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because they float this idea that they might cut inheritance tax. And as you say, it applies to 4% of people. Most people won't pay inheritance tax, but of course it's flagged up as a big tax cut. And people think because it's a tax cut, it might apply to them. It just doesn't.
Absolutely. What I'd like to see is tax cuts that would help real people every day. I'll give you, for example, IPT, insurance premium tax. You pay it, Richard pays it, everybody pays it. But they don't actually know what it is. A lot of people don't. And what it is...
Actually, what is it?
Exactly. So it's an insurance. When you take an insurance out, like holiday insurance, car insurance, house insurance, you get charged 12%. And in holiday insurance, it can go up to 20%. And it raises something like £7.5 billion for the Treasury. Now, £264 a piece, that's what it costs us all. And a lot of us don't even know that's happening.
No, I
Now,
don't.
let's get Jeremy to lower that. That sounds a much better idea.
Well,
then 99% then will benefit from that.
Yeah, but many people might benefit from a cut to national insurance.
Yes.
This is the big headline this morning, that might be what... I would forgive people watching for being confused about what is being cut and what isn't.
Yes.
We finally find out. But how much of a difference would a cut to national insurance make, do you think? Because that has a proper impact on how much money you have in your pocket.
Yes, that's going to benefit people to £300, £400, £500 in some cases. And that's going to be brilliant.
I think it's £400 if you're on 50 grand a year.
Yeah, which a lot of people on Burnley aren't. That's the problem.
I was going to say, yeah, exactly.
We've got fitted carpets and electricity, but they're not on 50 grand a year yet. And that's the problem. I want to see something that helps. What we need is a fairer taxation.
Yeah.
We need to be lifting the poorest out of the poverty and the food crisis that we've got. I'd like to see targeted tax credits to help people who are the poorest in society. The ones with the broadest shoulders need to bear more of the pain.
But even the Labour Party, hoping to get into government, who you would normally think would be the ones who might introduce wealth taxes or increase the top rate of tax, that's not even on the table. They're backing a potential tax cut today.
I mean, why? I'd like to see that new tools in the toolbox are used, where we can look at energy companies and some sort of special tax that they get taxed. I mean, when you've got somebody lowering the bankers' they've got this uncapping of the bankers' bonuses.
Yes.
I mean, so you've got uncapping of bankers' bonuses on one side of millions, and then you've got people up in the north of England who are in the food bank deciding whether they're feeding the 4-year-old daughter or themselves.
I think this went under the radar. Bankers' bonuses were capped because of, partly because of what happened, the financial crisis. It was just hearing my editor in my ear. It's because of Europe.
I thought you were going to say it's because of you.
It's because of you. No, I think you would want the cap on bankers' bonuses to increase.
Absolutely.
Or to continue.
I wouldn't pay them with brass washers.
It was lifted last month.
Unbelievable.
Dave.
How can you have that? I mean, we've got somebody ringing my place and saying, look, can you get some milk for us, Dave? We need milk for a food bank.
Yeah.
So we bought them a year's supply of milk. And then the other side, their priority is uncapping bankers' bonuses.
So they're not earning up.
David, can I ask you for your theory on this? Why do you think this country has drifted into the highest overall taxation for 70 years? Why do we have such high taxation in this country?
Well, I think we need to look at a slightly different way of doing things, because you've got the big tech companies that are coming into this country. They're benefiting from everything, but they're paying nothing. And then we're down at the lower end of the scale where people can earn £12,570. And the fiscal drag is going to bring more people. There's going to be 2.3 million people
Explain what
more.
fiscal drag is.
The fiscal drag is when inflation goes up, then more and more people get paid slightly more, which is a good thing, but it's not really, because they're not getting any more for the money. Money's becoming worth less, not worthless. You've got to be careful with that. So more people are being dragged into tax. 2.3 million people are going to be dragged into tax. We've got those rates frozen until 2028. What we need to do is get people so they can earn maybe 20 grand a year without being taxed.
The tax-free allowance.
That's much more important than somebody getting an extra 25 million bankers bonus.
Got a personal question for you. A lot of people, including the producers, want you to go on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And I know they've approached you. Why won't you do it?
Well, I was asked if I was interested, and it sounds a wonderful, wonderful programme. And being with Nigel Farage might have been fun.
I can see you two knocking sparks off
He
each other.
does ring me occasionally, and the thing is, if Nigel gets deprogrammed, not debanked, if he gets deprogrammed, then maybe I'll go in instead. But do you know, at the moment, I'm just so busy. We're just about to start filming Bank of Dave 2, which is the sequel. Last week we was in Burnley looking at places to film, so I was with the location scout, and he's actually the location scout for the Mission Impossible for Tom Cruise. And I said to him, what about bringing the next Mission Impossible to Burnley? And do you know what he said? Maybe.
Oh,
hey, you heard that first. Good morning, Britain.
Oh, wow.
But,
can I ask,
of course you can.
Dave, when you went down and spoke to people, obviously cost of living is the biggest concern.
Definitely.
We've got a story this morning. More people abandoning their pets now because they can't afford to feed them. What is the main thing that you're getting the sense that people are cutting back on? What kind of sacrifices are people making?
Well, the school I'm talking about earlier is, they called me and they said, look, Dave, we'd love a bus off you, because I sell buses, but we can't afford a bus. Could you help? And this is the ringing the garage. It's the school round the corner from the garage in Colne. And they're saying, look, the kids are coming to school starving. So I said, no problem, send us a list of what you need. So they needed toasting machines, they needed food. So we bought them a year's supply of food. I said, 3 months before you run out, ring me again, we'll buy you another year's supply of food. That's what's on people's minds. Milk for food banks. You know, the Pendle Food Bank have just got in touch. They need food. You know, food poverty is a big, big thing. I'm out on the streets talking to real people.
That's crystal. I know Susanna's met you lots of times. It's the first time I've met you. I think you're great. Thanks very much.
That's very kind of you to say. Can I just say one last thing?
Yes.
I would love to see...
You can say as much as you like, by the way. We're hooked on every word.
That's very kind. I'd love to see financial education in schools.
Yes.
If we can get people understanding APR. The next movie's about the payday loan industry. When I took them on, and I would love to see APR, annual percentage rates taught in school, so kids and young people don't get into debt early. That's what we need, financial education.
Dave, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in, and thanks for the film. It's great.
Well, I think a lot of people would wish that you were standing up in the House of Commons today.
No qualifications, that's a problem. They don't let me know. We're straight on a building site at 16.
Your qualification is you speak sense.
Exactly.
Thank you very much
You see
indeed.
it as it is. Right.